To say hello again. It's been as you can imagine, I guess coming up on 24 hours, and I've spent a couple of that sleeping and the rest of it working. I think that's the message I want to send to the group as I've met with them. And since then, I'd say when I left with you guys, I met with the coaches yesterday. We talked a lot about things. Half that meeting was with Dr. Postal, half was just me and the coaches. And following that was a series of communication went through in the night, ending with Jeff Wall somewhere after midnight, and then back up again very early this morning, trying to respond to hundreds of texts of support from supporters. I certainly don't have everybody's contact information, so I'm not kidding when I was hunting and picking through hundreds of numbers to make sure I'm not missing a coach, a donor, Eric Woods, chiming in around midnight, these guys, and I'm telling them all the same thing. We expected, their support here for the university, and I'm trying to leverage my network inside of Louisville and outside of Louisville. But it's nice to hear from people like Eric Wood, Redmond, Ragon, all the guys here from, former basketball players. Having Marcus here today is pretty special. I asked Kenny last night for Coach Crum's number and hope to touch base with him as I get a break in the action. But even so far as Julie Boeheim, Jim's wife, is a personal friend from college. Many years ago, we stayed close, and through Jim's things at Syracuse, that was the first one to reach out and wish them the best, and seeing them at Final Fours, and it was terrific to see the support back from them, and it means a lot that those type of things are happening, and that people really do recognize the importance of the program and what's happening. The meeting with the coaches went terrific. Dr. Postal did a nice job in his few words, and then I followed it up with more of my expectations. And then this morning, those expectations were relayed again to the senior staff and a broader group later in the morning of assistant athletic directors and then the whole athletic department. We met over at the Thornton Center in the auditorium. And similar message in the press release, but there's lots of emotions here. I think everybody's clear on that, whether it be related to Rick or to Tom. And for now, we have to quarantine those emotions. I have them myself, and focus on the task at hand and what needs to get done. So we're trying to highlight, as I'm getting in here quickly, to what are the most pressing topics. I think we know a couple of those. You guys can name those faster than me. And then there's others, just projects, because in working through these, we have to prioritize with the athletic department. We can't lose pace with what was happening, and we may have lost about a week, but I don't think we lost a week with the staff. We may have lost a week on some direction, but not on the staff. They've been working hard on things, so I'll help them on prioritizing those topics. My message is that they're certainly asking about support and things from the university, support around Tom, and I've echoed the same comments. I'm happy to support Tom while we're supporting the university and all this going on here in the better good. I think they should feel the same pressure I do to live up to Tom's legacy. I feel it's important not to let him down as he's viewing from afar. As I said, he's done a terrific job. We're not taking away anything that's been built here. We're continuing to build on it. So my expectation is to look at each of these projects and go through them, get the stadium completed. There's been others been approved by the ULA board, others on tap. I'm sure the athletic team would like to bring forward. And then in the near term, I say today after I finish those meetings and messages, I met with compliance to get up to speed on our situation here and start to dig into what's happening, what do they know, what do we know on hand, and I know that's the most pressing. I've got to clear distractions for David and this team to get on with business, and I'm going to try to do that as quickly as I can. So that's probably the highlight of the day, beyond me going around and talking about myself or the plans or what my expectations are of the broader group. So. Been a very busy day. Obviously had some media commitments as well. We'll have some more. Jump on the plane. We'll be talking to Coach B on the flight down, Petrino, and get through some of the things that's on his tap. I had things going on last night. He did too. His daughter's birthday dinner and so forth. So, and I know Bobby, so I know he knows that I'll be with him today, and we'll get some quality time together. And then while down in Raleigh, it's business. Tomorrow, planning meetings with the staff. They'll be going with me and continuing to dig in further on the issues. So I was excited to go to the game. I got great expectations for the team. We need this in a lot of ways, and hopefully our guys are up for it and deliver in a big way, not just for the record, but for a broader group of fans. So with that, I'll turn over to you guys shortly here for some questions.
What did you learn in the last 24 hours that you didn't know?
The status
of Johnson.
Yeah, they're still with us. They're still employed. That's something I'm working on literally as we speak, and we'll be on the phone as soon as I leave here.
Have they been involved with the practices at all, or have they?
No, no. David's at this point is a one-man band. He's out there trying to do what he can, and that's part of the issue, right? I mean, you can do that for a practice or two, but that's not a good recipe. So I've got to solve that.
Are they allowed on campus, or are they allowed to be in the facility at all? Or?
Well, they're allowed, but they're not coming around, and they're not here to. I don't think Jordan's, as far as I know, too. Jordan has not been around. Kenny, I think, has come by, but they're not active in their responsibilities today.
You mentioned Coach Crum. Would you consider asking him to help out in any way? You said something about contacting him.
My thought was, look at one thing that I always enjoyed as a kid is watching how the program involved my father. And I think it's great to recognize many of the former athletes. And I think basketball is one of them. We've had some great ones in basketball, certainly, and particularly under today. And David needs that support. I mean, I can tell him what my network of people have to say in the community, but I think he needs to hear it firsthand and see their support. So I'm reaching out to them. And certainly with Coach Crum, I'm tipping my hand, but it's to ask him to, come by, voice his support, be with him. He needs that. David can dictate what he needs and doesn't need, but if there's one thing, in a playbook of that, is I would like to have that involvement. And I know there's a number of players that are still in the community that would love to say hello, love to stop by, and we'll do that as we're allowed and can.
Given your relationship with Tom and Mark, is taking this job awkward for you?
I think it goes back to the point I made earlier. Mark and I had a terrific, healthy discussion. It's that's the thing about Mark and I can tell Mark exactly what I'm thinking, and felt like I could have that same with Tom. And the beauty of this is Mark telling me that he's 100% committed. We're already talking about things that are going on with him, and more importantly, hearing him say that Tom's happy with what's going on, and that he's comfortable things are going to keep moving forward while he's gone. Through Mark.
What have you learned in these last 24 hours that you didn't know before taking this job?
I think it's more the questions I'm asking are just the structure of the department. I want to make sure that I know where answers are coming from, how much we rely on the university. Obviously we've got this investigation going, so I'm asking who's our representatives, third party, in-house legal is obviously a part of that. So I'm digging in on those fronts, but it's really sorting through how things get done and who's pulling the strings and what I need to do to manage them and work with them at the same time.
All right, for one more question.
Did you talk to Commissioner Crawford last night, and how was that?
Yeah, so I called him actually when I left after night to meet with the coaches. Called my wife first, kids, and then called John Swofford. I did not get him. He's Jody. I'm sitting on looks like about a 3.5 minute voicemail message right now. So I missed him while I was in talking to the staff. So, but I will tell you that Mark did reach out. I believe Kimmy might have reached out as well. So while I'm been behind closed doors, they made contact with him, and it's very positive. And I know he's looking forward to talking, but not as much as me.
Great. Thanks, Vince.